The RLC series circuit, as the term indicate, here resistance, inductance and capacitance are connected in series. Here you can see, and the series combination is connected across the voltage source, where instantaneous value is Vm sin omega t. So which will flow the instantaneous current I. We know that in series circuit, the current is common through all the elements in the series circuit. The resistance, inductance and capacitor, through all these elements, the current will be common, and which is the instantaneous value denoted by small I. Now, like previous cases, that RL RC series circuit that we have seen, the phasor diagrams for separate resistive circuit, inductive circuit and capacitive circuit. So let us see it again. The voltage across the resistor VR is IR. Voltage across inductor VL is IXL, and voltage across capacitance VC is equal to IXC. So that we know. So let us draw a separate phasor diagram for purely resistive, inductive and capacitive circuit. So for purely resistive circuit, we know that the voltage and current are in phase. So this is what on the single line, the current and voltage we can show. As the voltage is greater than current, so we can denote by the extended length for this VR, and for current, the short length. For inductance, we know that the current is lagging by 90 degree for pure inductance. You know, the current is lagging by 90 degree to the voltage VR. So we can have exactly perpendicular to each other, and the angle between them is 90 degree. Current on the reference axis or horizontal axis. And for purely capacitive circuit, we know that the current is leading voltage by 90 degree. So here is again perpendicular. Voltage and current are perpendicular to each other. Angle is exactly 90 degree. Again here, the current on the horizontal axis. Now we can combine these all. So you will get the complete phasor diagram for RLC series circuit. But it is not like that. The complete phasor diagram will depends on the value of this inductance L and the capacitance C. So it depends on that. The opposition through the inductor XL will be increase or decrease, depends on the value of this inductance, and same for the capacitor. The value of XC and XL will plays an important role. If the value of inductor increases, then XLs will increase. If the value of capacitor increases, XL will decrease. So this is what changes in the series RLC circuit, which depends on the value of inductance L and capacitance C. So depends on that, there are three different conditions. Right? So first condition is XL is greater than XC, where inductance will be more. The second condition, XL is less than XC, inductance value will be less. And third, both are equal. XL is equal to XC. So this is the condition, different condition, and depends on that we can draw the phasor diagram. XL is greater than XC, where inductance will be more than capacitance. Second condition, XL is less than XC, inductance value will be lower. And third, it will be equal. XL is equal to XC. So for this series RLC circuit, let us see this condition one by one in detail. So separate phasor diagram, we have already drawn this. So first condition, XL is greater than XC. Okay. Now we'll combine all these phasor diagram. Look at that. We have taken current on the horizontal axis. For resistive circuit, the voltage VR is in phase with the current. For inductance, this voltage VL is leading, and for capacitance, voltage VC is lagging. Now look at that. Here XL is greater than XC. Therefore, this implies that VL also greater than VC. How? VL is greater than VC. How? Because VL is equal to I into XL and VC is equal to I into XC. Look at that. V is equal to what? VL is equal to IXL, VC is equal to IXC. I is the common, we can neglect it. So XL is greater than XC. So that's why VL is greater than VC. And we have the phasor diagram for voltages, not for reactance. Now look at the voltage is VL is greater than VC. So what we can have, the length for this VL is greater than this VC. We can denote this by graphical representation. Here we can extend the length for VL and we can reduce the length for VC. Right? This is what we can observe where VL is greater than VC. And we can have VL and VC are exactly out of each other. This is called out of phase. So exactly 180-degree phase difference. The inductive circuit and capacitive circuit, these are exactly opposite. That we can also see here. Right? We know that for inductive, voltage is leading current, for capacitive, voltage is lagging. So these are exactly opposite to each other. That means the phase difference is 180-degree. Right? So here we can see 90 plus 90, 180-degree phase difference for VL and VC. And by graphical representation, we can extend the length for VL. On the x-axis, horizontal axis, it is remains same that current and voltage VR, these are in phase with each other. Okay. Now what we can do, take a resultant of VL and VC. Now when we take the resultant of VL and VC, so it will be in this direction. And we can just denote that resultant for VL and VC, it is VL minus VC. The length for VC is less than the VL, so we can have VL minus VC. It will be reduced length. Now we can just show is by graphical representation. The length of VL minus VC will be reduced because this length for VL minus this length for VC. That means the magnitude, and we can simply represent in the upside because of VL is greater. So VL minus VC, it becomes on the upward direction for representation purpose, and the resultant will be as it is that we have seen for RL series circuit. The resultant V, which is the combination of VR and VL minus VC. And the angle that we have, phi, with respect to the resultant. Right? So this is the complete phasor diagram where we can get the current is lagging voltage by angle phi. So this is the complete phasor diagram. Or if you want, then we can only draw this phasor diagram. The voltage and the current. The current is lagging voltage by angle phi. So this is like RL series circuit. So this circuit will behave as a RL series circuit. The capacitance value is less than the inductance. It will be inductive. Circuit becomes inductive. Now, from this phasor diagram, we can draw a voltage triangle like we have earlier drawn it. So take any triangle from this phasor diagram. So we can have voltage triangle. Here base side represents VR, voltage across the resistance. Adjacent side will be VL minus VC, this one, and the hypotenuse will be only V. Right? So this is the voltage triangle for XL is greater than XC for this condition. Now we have these equations, resultant voltage and the currents. As XL is greater than XC, VL is also greater than VC, as I told you. The resultant voltage is obtained by taking the vector addition of VR, VL and VC. Okay, vector addition of VR, VL and VC. Not the arithmetic sum, it will be a phasor sum. So for phasor sum, we just denote a bar over these terms like that. So this is the vector addition or phasor addition. As we have VL and VC are directly in phase opposition 180 degree, then the resultant will be VL minus VC. Simple arithmetic subtraction. This is simple arithmetic subtraction, VL minus VC. We are subtracting length of VC from VL. Okay, now from the voltage triangle, what we have is resultant voltage by Pythagoras at V is equal to under root of VR square plus VL minus VC bracket square. So this is what we have. V is equal to under root of VR square plus VL minus VC bracket square. Or we can have VR is nothing but IR, VL is IXL, VC is IXC and bracket square. Or again we can simplify, take current as a common, then in bracket we'll have R square plus XL minus XC bracket square. If you want to calculate the current, then take I is equal to V by impedance, V by Z. So this is the value for this Z. Mod of Z, where the magnitude of this Z. That is equal to under root of R square plus XL minus XC bracket square. So this is how we can calculate the voltage, current or impedance in the RLC circuit whenever XL is greater than XC. So from the phasor diagram, we can have the equations for voltage and current that is same as we have seen for series RL circuit. V is equal to Vm sin omega t, I is equal to Im sin omega t minus phi, where Im is equal to Vm by Z and phi is equal to tan inverse of XL minus XC by Z. Look at this point. Here not only XL, it is XL minus XC. We can calculate this angle phi. Hope you understood first condition. If yes, then we'll move for the second condition. Do you have any questions for XL is greater than XC? If you understand XL is greater than XC, so it will be very easy to understand XL is less than XC or XL is equal to XC. So second condition is XL less than XC. That means VL less than VC. Same thing. Now look at opposite of XL greater than XC. Now the length for voltage VC is greater than the length for voltage VL. It becomes a more capacitive circuit than inductive. The difference between VL and VC is 180 degree out of phase, as we know, and for resistive circuit, current and voltage are in phase. Now the resultant for this VL and VC will be vertically downward. VC minus VL. Now look at that. The greater term is what? VC, and the shorter term is what? VL. So we'll subtract VL from VC. And the resultant will be V, which is the resultant of VR, and VL minus VC. So it will be downward now. So complete phasor diagram for it, the current which is leading voltage V by angle phi. Right? Here current is leading. And the circuit behaves as a RC series circuit. In previous case, the circuit behaves as a RL series circuit. Here it will be RC series circuit, because the effect of capacitance is more than the inductance. Okay, now we will let us have a voltage triangle from it. Consider any of the triangle. Then this base side is VR here. The adjacent side is VC minus VL, and the hypotenuse is only V. And the angle phi as it is. Right? So this is the voltage triangle. Then again we have the equations for the resultant voltage, the impedance and the current. As XL is less than XC, VL is less than VC, then the resultant same, which is the addition of vector addition of VR, VL and VC. This is the vector addition. As VL and VC are exactly opposite, that is out of phase the resultant VL minus VC minus VL. Simple arithmetic subtraction. Then resultant will be V is equal to under root of VR square plus in bracket VC minus VL square. So we can put it the value IR, IXC, IXL, and then in terms of the impedance. So V is equal to I into Z, where Z is under root of R square plus XC minus XL bracket square. Only the difference is here, XC is greater than XL, so XC minus XL. The current and voltage equation, V is equal to Vm sin omega t, and the current I is equal to Im sin omega t plus phi. And Im is Vm by Z, mod of Z, and phi is the tan inverse of Xc minus X divided by R. So this is how we can calculate the angle phi. So this is the second condition, XL is less than XC. Now look at that, the third condition, where XL is equal to XC. XL is equal to XC. Now look at that. Both are equal, so therefore VL is equal to VC. The magnitude of VL is very equal to VC. So we can have the same length for VL and same length for VC. VL and VC, which will have same length but exactly opposite to each other. That is 180-degree phase opposition. And for resistive circuit, current and voltage are in phase. Okay. So what will be that? VL minus VC. If we take the difference between VL and VC, the resultant will be 0. If we take VC minus VL, again the resultant will be 0. So whatever we take, the resultant is 0. So in the circuit, the phasor diagram will only have the current and voltage are in phase. Right? So this is the voltage VR and current I are in phase with each other. So for XL and XC, the resultant RLC circuit behaves as a purely resistive circuit. Right? As XL is equal to XC, VL is equal to VC, the resultant V is equal to VR, that is equal to IR, or V is equal to I into Z. Or the circuit will have a purely resistive circuit, so mod of Z is equal to only R. So in impedance form, Z is equal to R plus JX, where X is equal to XL minus XC or XC minus XL, it will be 0. So it will only have Z is equal to R and tan inverse of X by R. So this is the resultant impedance in the RLC series circuit. So that is Z and phi for series RLC circuit. Now we can see the different impedances for XL is greater than XC and XL is less than XC. Impedance triangle. We draw this triangle by voltage triangle. As we know, the voltage triangle VR is the base side, VL minus VC is the adjacent side, and the V is the hypotenuse. So simply divide each side by I, we get the impedance triangle. So base side is the resistance, adjacent side is the reactance, XL minus XC, and the hypotenuse is mod of Z. And similarly for XL is less than XC. Only the difference is that this adjacent side is XC minus XL. Only this difference. So this is the impedance triangle for XL is greater than XC, XL is less. Impedance triangle or voltage triangle doesn't exist for XL is equal to XC because there is no VL and VC, both components are absent. So we cannot draw it. In power in RLC series circuit, average power we know P is equal to VI cos phi, the resultant formula for this term. Now we don't have to derive the power equation again for RLC series circuit. We already derived it for RL and RC series circuit. As we know, for XL is greater than XC, the circuit behaves like RL series circuit. The average power is given by VI cos phi. Power for RL series circuit. We can directly take this formula. For second condition, XL is less than XC, circuit behaves as a RC series circuit. The average power is VI cos pi. Same equation. And for XL is equal to XC, circuit behaves as a purely resistive circuit, and the total power will be P is equal to VI. Cos pi will be 1 for purely resistive circuit, so it will be only voltage into current. So these are the different power formulas for RLC series. And then last we have the power triangle for XL is greater than XC and XL is less than XC. Simply multiply each side by I. For the voltage triangle, we'll get VR into I, VI cos pi. Active power will multiply by I, VI sin pi, reactive power, and hypotenuse, the apparent power. And same for XL is less than XC. Multiply each side by I, so we'll get the active power, VI cos pi on the base side, reactive power, VI sin pi on the adjacent side, and hypotenuse will represent the apparent power. This is the power triangle. At last, we have the summary for RLC series circuit. Now it will be more clear by looking at this summary. First condition, XL is greater than XC. In nature of the RLC series circuit, RL series circuit. So it will behave as a RL series circuit. Active power is VI cos pi, reactive power is VI sin pi, power factor is lagging and less than 1. We know that it will be from 0 to 1, then we can have lagging power factor for RL series circuit. Second condition, XL is less than XC, so it behaves as a RC series circuit. Then power is same, VI cos pi active power, reactive power VI sin pi, leading and less than 1. Right? And third condition, XL is equal to XC, it behaves as a purely resistive circuit. In power, active power is VI, and reactive power will be 0 because of sin 0 is 0, and the power factor will be unity. And in all cases, the apparent power is VI. It will not change. Apparent power S is equal to V into I, measured in volt ampere. So this is the summary for RLC series circuit.